Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you back to episode 3 of the Zero to Hero series. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how my build went from this to this. And yes, I will be including a full 6 mod T16 map demonstration at the end of the video with a boss. I'll also be including a character breakdown at the very end of the video. So if you're interested in that stuff, make sure to stick around, or you can even just skip ahead. I should have the timestamp on screen, and there'll definitely be chapters down below. Also, as you can see, my Ice Strike, even on a 4-link still, actually does over 200k DPS, and this results in like a total of 400 to 700k DPS consistently on boss fights. I'm not going to name names here, but I've seen quite a few videos going around of 1 million DPS this build, 5 million DPS that build on a budget, and then they get in game, open their skills tab, and the tooltip says like 40k DPS, and then they're like, yeah, but it does 80k when I'm in game or when I'm fighting. I understand YouTube is a game, and I play it sometimes as well, but I think it's important to remember to not be too shameless, because eventually it will just become a price war where every YouTuber is trying to out clickbait the other ones, and I don't think that's really healthy for the community at large, and especially for a game like POE 2 with so many new players that are trying to get an understanding of what's going on. In order to understand how we got there though, there's no other way to do it than to start where we left off in episode 2, which is the beginning of Act 3 Cruel. However, I know you guys have already seen Act 3, and I made no updates to my build during this time, so I decided to just make it a short little highlight reel of the last few bosses, and then we're going to get into the upgrades I got right after the campaign.
I can't give up. I will succeed. Let's see you survive this. No. I do know the way.
Moving into the end game, and we saved up all of our currency from almost all of Act 2 and definitely all of Act 3, which resulted in us having a total of 12 Exalted Orbs and 1 Chaos Orb. First things first, we grabbed a nice jewel, and then we slammed 2 Exalts on it immediately after. Both gave us pretty solid rolls, I'm not gonna lie. After that, we went ahead and grabbed a ring. Unfortunately, I think we definitely overpaid for this ring. I do not think it was worth 4 Exalts after doing a little bit more searching, but you win some, you lose some. After that, we got a semi-okay belt for 3 Exalts. Maybe overpaid for this one too, but I needed to solve the puzzle of my resistances, and it had some nice life, so I wasn't complaining. Finally, we got a really nice chest piece, but unfortunately we definitely overpaid for this one. I immediately was searching a little bit more afterwards and found chest pieces that were even better than this one for just 1 Exalted Orb. Now that we respect our Ascendancy, which gave us a ton of extra spirit and a ton of armor rating, it was time to finally hit some maps. After doing maps for a little bit and farming back some of the currency that I'd spent on my gear upgrades, I decided it was finally time to give my first attempt at getting my 5th and 6th ascendancy point from the 3rd floor of Trial of Secamus. Now, I did a fair bit of prep for this because I've heard horror stories about how difficult it is, so I grabbed a few relics with honor resist, maximum honor, all for just 1 exalted each. I was even using one from one of my previous runs, just a random one with 8% max life that I forgot to augment because I'm a doofus. And I don't know if it's the build or the fact that honor resist is really just that strong, but I'll just let you see for yourself how difficult it was for this build and, the poopy relics that I was running. And just like that, we got our 5th and 6th ascendancy point. I'm gonna assume it was a combination of the build and the relics. I didn't try a run without the relics, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I imagine they were quite impactful, and obviously I was also doing a lot of damage based on the speed at which the bosses were dying. After that, I decided to slam a couple of Vol Orbs into my Ice Strike, hoping for a 4 socket, and thankfully one of them hit. Finally, I've been hearing so much about this tower thing and that you need to be juicing your maps with multiple towers, so even though I wasn't on super high tier maps, I wanted to play around with that just so I could get a feel for it. After messing around with that a little bit and feeling like I had a pretty solid understanding of the new mechanics added to PoE 2's Endgame, I had my eyes set on the Atlas passive skill tree, so I locked in and cranked out some maps. Obviously, after doing 60 to 70 maps, I racked up a fair bit of currency. Nothing too crazy though, just like 30 to 40 exalts. I wasn't using any rarity gear, obviously, as you guys know, but with that I was able to get some well-deserved upgrades. The main one being a new staff for 20 exalts, and I did some testing before this with like some 1 exalted orb staffs, testing out elemental damage versus physical damage, and I came to the conclusion that for my build, I was getting a lot more bang for my buck by going for an elemental focused weapon. So that's what I went for. After I got it, slammed the Vol Orb, and holy fuck. It was around this time that a very big brain friend of mine introduced me to the idea of putting Cold Infusion in my Herald of Thunder and Lightning Infusion in my Herald of Ice. I already have a quick guide on my channel that goes over what this does and how it works, but effectively it creates a screen-wide chain explosion effect that is not only very satisfying, but extremely effective at clearing maps. So I took this new strategy and the ring I just got with percent increased rarity of items found, back into maps, farmed about 30 or so, got a bunch more currency, bought a few more items which you're about to see. Then I'm going to be showing you guys and walking you through a full T16 6 mod map with the boss, and then finally I'll be giving a character update on all of my gear, skills, passives up to this point. So hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, here we go. We got a T15 6 mod map. We're throwing it into a boss and corrupted map, so it's kind of like a T16. And I've also had a lot of people asking me about how this build does for bosses, so I made sure it's a boss map as well, so I can demonstrate that. Also, you guys will see a sneak peek of this at the end of this episode, but next episode you'll get to see the 4th floor Ascendancy Pinnacle boss. Whenever you get your 4th Ascendancy points, you'll see how fast that gets killed. Not in the sneak peek, of course, but really quickly, I'll just quickly hover over my gear so you can see it's all the same gear, and then we will get into it. And right after this is done, I'm going to be doing, obviously you guys will be seeing a full character build update, or not build update, but like a full character update with passive skills, gear, you know, support gems, all that stuff, so you guys can get an idea of what I'm working with exactly. Yeah, we're still getting those massive screen-wide explosions, and no problem whatsoever. Well, 18 uncut spirit gems is actually pretty nice. Obliterate rares. It's a precursor to what the boss fight's gonna look like as well. I've had no issues with bosses so far. Honestly, the only thing I've had issues with, and I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this as well, but the on-death explosions. I've only died 20 times. Only 3 of those were in the endgame, and I believe all 3 of them were due to after death or like on death explosions. Like right there, that just did 4,000 damage to my energy shield. Little like blow up things. That wasn't even like a normal on death explosion either. Shit did so much damage. Okay, the range on that shit is also criminal. Let's stay away from big boys. Nice little exalted. Yeah, to everyone who said this wasn't possible at T15 Maps, I mean, I think this should be proving it wrong pretty easily. Also, keep in mind, like I said, you'll see right after this with the full character update, but this is literally like a 70 exalt budget build, which is extremely cheap, all things considered. Like, most people are running around with at least 5 divine orb worth of builds in T15 maps. And I mean, yeah, this build is just super cheap. Obliterates the entire screen. Super tanky, no issues with bosses. I will admit I got a lot tankier whenever I started using energy shield, but I also didn't really need that until deeper maps, and I'm also not even really sure how much I need it per se. I mean, it helps with the on-death explosions, but like outside of the explosions, I'm not sure if it would even be necessary because everything just kind of dies, but that doesn't hurt. Kaboom. Alright. Pretty sure this is the boss, but I must be missing some rares, obviously. Completely whiffed my bow. Yeah, even my charge staff is enough to kill most things. Like, I don't even have to actually hit with Ice Strike. What are What are these explosions even that are happening right now on my screen? This shit looks crazy. Obviously the meteor, I think, is from the shrines, but some other big explosions. Okay, I think the last one is the boss. This one's just like bugged on my mini map. That's already dead. Try and cheat my charged staff or my power charges all the way until the boss. Make it a bit easier on myself, even though it's not actually necessary. Alright, we got our charge staff going. I mean, like, I'm sure there are builds that kill the bosses faster, but like, does it really get much faster than 2.5 seconds or whatever that was? Like 3 seconds, however long it took me to kill that boss. So yeah, that is a, like I said, T15, actually T16, 6 mod T16 map. Here's all the gear once again, just so you can see it's the same gear. Skills, still got a 4-link ice strike, no 5 links yet. Level 86. Here's the passive skill tree. I do technically have my 7th and 8th ascendancy point currently. Like I said, you won't see that this episode because some crazy stuff happened during the trial. Got some nuclear nice drops. So I'm gonna wait to include that until the beginning of next episode, but you will get to see a sneak peek at the very end of this one, or maybe I'll pop it in between this section and the character update. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed, and good luck. Have fun checking out the character update in just a second. Alrighty, we're back with the character update. This is literally immediately after the map I just showcased, the T16 with the boss. Still portals open right here. Haven't even started another map yet. First things first, we'll go over the gear. All of this gear was bought and the trade was shown during these episodes, minus the amulet. I have scoured literally like 8 to 10 hours worth of footage, and I just cannot find where and when I bought the amulet. So I'll be including a screenshot of a similar amulet on screen. I think it was for 10 exalted orbs. It's basically the same stats. I'll admit, I got it for kind of a steal, but there's a lot of new players right now. You can find good items for cheap if you look for like 3 minutes. So do with that what you will. I got this one for, I want to say like 15. So it's even a little bit more expensive than the one I'm showing on screen. But regardless, let's start with the weapon. Got the weapon for 20 exalted orbs, I believe. If I paid a different price based on what you remember from seeing in the video, feel free to correct me down below for the correct total, but I believe this was 20 exalted orbs. Both of these runes were 7 each, I think. Maybe 7 each, maybe it was more. No, I think it was 7 each. So 34 exalts total for the weapon. You do not need these runes, obviously, but they do provide an increase. It goes without saying. So 34 exalts there. This ring, got this pretty recently. Super duper crazy ring, to be honest. Got it for 25 exalted. Slammed a chaos orb on it. Hit the 7% to all elemental resistances. I think this is like a total of 105% all LE res, something around there, which is just absolutely insane. Once again, probably got this one for a bit of a steal. If you don't include the corruption, it's probably worth 40, 50 exalts. I'm not an expert, but that'd be my guess. Helmet, this one was definitely included in this video. 5 exalted orbs. So is the ring and weapon, I'm sure, but helmet was included. 5 exalted orbs for this one. Nothing crazy. I don't know if I would even say it was a steal. It's just a pretty solid helmet. It does give us a lot of energy shield though, like 1,000 energy shield, which is nuts. Chest piece, I think we got this for 15 exalted. Also an insane item. This is like 1300 energy shield currently based on my passive tree setup. Yeah, just super insane for 15 exalts. Other ring, got this one for 2 exalted orbs. This is probably one of the things we're upgrading in the semi near future. Definitely no reason not to. Still not a bad ring for 2 exalted orbs though, not bad at all. Necklace, like I said, got this one for like 10 to 15. Solid stats, the 18% to all Ellie res, 8 all attributes, max life is sick, maximum energy shield is sick, crit chance sick. Boots, still using the same boots from the campaign for 1 exalted orb. Definitely need to upgrade these soon as well. Belt, I think we bought this right after we got out of the campaign for 1 exalted orb. Maybe it was like 3, but I think it was like 1 exalted orb. And then gloves, I can't remember if we got those this episode, or yeah, we definitely got these this episode as well. 1 exalted orb, I'm pretty sure. So in total, if you count the runes, it's like 34, 5, so that's 39, 15, that's 54, 25, that's 79, 81, another 15, so that's 96, 97, 98, 99. So about 99 exalted orbs for all of the items I'm currently wearing. And if you don't include the 2 runes, it's like 85. So I would say that's a pretty cheap setup for being able to blast through T15 maps like they're butter. And yeah. Moving on to the skills, still no 5 link. Basically, the skills are honestly very similar to the end of last episode, but Ice Strike, I'm just going to hover over these support gems so you can see them. I'm not going to explain all of them. Got Tempest Spell, 3 link. Charge Staff, we slammed the Corrupted Orb this episode. I think we did the same thing for the Ice Strike. Slammed both of these with Corrupted Orbs. Got them up to 4 links because we have not bought any 4 link Jeweler's Orbs yet. We got Conduction, obviously. The last gem we put in is Persistence. It's kind of helping out with our Power Charge duration. Not Power Charge, but Charge Staff duration. Since we ended up speccing out of this at some point. Oops. Still rocking a 3 link Herald of Thunder. I've tried to slime it a couple times, no success. Same with the Herald of Ice. Something that is different from last episode to this one is not playing Hand of Chayula instead of Hypothermia. This is basically just a point and click application of your curse though. It also applies marks, so we've got Hypothermia and Freezing Mark with Heightened Curse slotted as well. And Dancer. We swapped Ghost Dance for Grim Feast. And then we've still got Combat Frenzy. And that is the skills. Moving on to the passive tree. Very, very similar to what is currently showing in my max roll planner on the triple element delayed. If not just like the exact same, to be honest. I can't actually see any differences other than like I don't have this yet. But I will be going for this relatively soon. But yeah, I'm not going to go over it fully. Like I said, there's really no differences. I mean, we got this. We're headed for this next. We've ended up getting Throat Seeker, like in between last episode and this episode. We've picked up these nodes up here, which are super helpful. Got this node. I'm currently still running this node, so that way I don't have to get this one. Not sure if that's actually better, but it's something I'm testing right now, and currently it feels better to just take this node, so that way I can have both of these. Instead of having to like drop I Am the Blizzard for Sunder My Enemies. But yeah, that's the passive tree. Nothing too crazy going on here. I'm still basically running the same stuff, and I've just been literally just blasted through the whole endgame all the way up to T15 maps. Like I said, I've obviously killed the 4th floor Trial of Sekima boss at this point. Not going to spoil how insanely quick that fight was, or how quick that fight was exactly, but let's just say didn't put up much of a fight. I'll put it that way. And yeah, that's the character update. If you guys have any questions, as I'm sure many of you know, I'm super responsive to the comments. Feel free to hop in the Discord. We're building up a super solid community in there. There's a lot of guys that are eager and willing to help out newer players. Ask a question, it will get answered. I can almost 100% guarantee it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Consider becoming a member of the channel if you'd really like to support me. And other than that, be on the lookout for an updated endgame version of the guide for this build, as well as episode 4, where I plan to not only showcase me killing the 4th floor boss of Trial of Secamus, but I'm also going to try and get to some other pinnacle bosses. I'm quickly building up the breach splinters, so we'll probably go for like the breach pinnacle boss. Maybe we'll go for like delirium. Not exactly sure yet. We'll just have to see. So other than that, take it easy, have fun blasting.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
And last but not least, take it easy, chefs.
Watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.